So after doing the theory video and the practical video on the printed zero-rated matter, also the actual V.A.T. Act itself, if you've even read it, it's actually quite clear. And it's good that I actually got around to reading that act after I'd actually learned generally about law and legislation, you know, to do with statute law, to do with other acts, to do with basically using notices in public and all the definitions and terms. Actually, when you get to this V.A.T. Act, actually knowing how to approach legislation and even understanding, you know, words and the proper meaning of words when they're used, and also the context within the act of the words. Sometimes a word says that the meaning of the word is only within what it means in the act, and then other words are the full interpretation of the word. So in the V.A.T. Act, it actually distinguishes between corporate bodies and non-corporate bodies. So particularly in the section on Group 9, which is for philanthropic, which is charitable, spiritual, educational, philosophical, and political groups, bodies. It uses the word body. And in this act, you can have incorporated bodies and non-incorporated bodies. And in Group 9, you don't have to be an incorporated body. And that is absolutely critical and importantly serious, because you don't need to be incorporated. And you only get incorporated if you've got over so much profits or turnover a year anyway as a business. So charities are incorporated and registered when they're big charities, and also political parties, a democratic organisation like, you know, republic.org.uk. So all you're required to be is a body, not a corporate body. And in the dictionary, when you look under body, it's simply a group of people who have come together for a certain aim, goal, or reason. So that is to do, you know, good work, charitable work, or so forth. So actually, all you need to do is someone recognise that the purpose that you are doing anything is for charitable reasons or political reasons and so forth. So you definitely don't have to be a corporate body for charities, religious or political bodies, and you definitely don't have to be a registered one. And when you go through, I mean, I've been through the whole IRS website. It's a really good website for examples, and the English website, HM Government, is the same. No one is required to register for any tax-exempt status officially or recorded if they're under a certain turnover. It's not required. It's not big enough to need to tell the government, but you're still a body and you can still be recognised as a body, just one that's not incorporated. So that's Group 9. Now, Group 9, there's some more. You can check this act. You can check this whole act for the term of body. Unincorporated bodies. So you can have unincorporated bodies. So the thing is that if you're a body that is religious, educational, charitable, or political, you don't pay V.A.T. on items, especially if either you're giving them away for free as well, they're for purpose to give away for free and not sell, and if you've got a subscription to join, a subscription to be a member. Like, you know, you can actually pay subscriptions to join, but they're all non-profit. All of those items under Group 9 are non-profit. You don't need to be registered with government or registered for tax to be non-profit, because all of the money that you take in, you just use it for the aims and goals of the body, right? you can get money in from subscriptions, which the word subscription means subscribe. The word scribe is a scribe writes, subscribe. It means you sign up. You join the group, basically. You can pay to join a group, or you can just join it voluntarily or verbally. You can subscribe in writing to say that, officially declare that you're a member of the group, just to the group. It's like a contract to the group. That doesn't have to be with the government, which basically means that if it's a subscription, you basically can take money off them to be a member. And you're allowed to actually, give them goods as well. Basically, this is like what the Monster-Raving Loony Party do when you join up. You get a rosette, a badge, and things like that. So you don't actually have to be an incorporated body to do that. You can give things away. You can buy things, get things made to give away to further the aims of the group. And you can also take subscriptions, as long as it's not for profit. And you can use those, obviously you can use those subscriptions for running costs, but that's not a profit. That is just to operate, to get places, to go places, and to further the aims of the group. You don't need to be a corporate body. And this makes perfect sense, and that confirms with all of the other legislation to do with not requiring to file with government and so forth if you're under a certain turnover. So I don't know how the companies... A lot of business and companies have ended up, the demand V.A.T number or, a V.A.T tax registered number, but we don't know why they get like this. I don't know whether it's because they're uncertain, that they don't have confidence, or other people misguide them and give them misinformation, or whether, we don't know whether the tax man's coming around and misadvising them. Maybe it depends what conversations they have with him and whether he's honest or not. But I can guarantee you in the legislation, word for word, in this law, you do not need to be a incorporated body, which means you're not filed for tax. You're not registered for tax. Any body, as long as it's religious, educational, charitable, or political, because that's what you do when you get a petition. When you're collecting signatures on a petition, you're getting many people to sign it, and you're actually forming. That's what you're doing. You're forming a body with an aim. You're forming a body with an aim that is not for profit. Its pursuit is for a change in legislation or to get the law changed, and you need to promote that and advertise it. Now that's through Group 9, but even if you're even without Group 9, which covers all charitable anything, that means that basically yourself, you have a body, you are a human being, and you live with a body, right? Because someone has to start the charity or start the campaign or start the other activity in order to get other people to join it. And, obviously, if it remains small, you will never be generating subscriptions or getting donations, whichever requires you to file with government. Now, the thing is, this is the thing really with this that kind of annoys me the most, right? And that is that it says goods. So all goods, you can actually obtain goods for this charity to give away. So that means like rosettes, badges, things like that. It probably could even be T-shirts, right? But stickers are something that's printed and promotes it and advertises it. Now, even without having a body, even without having a religious, charitable, spiritual, or political body, this is the ironic thing. When a business or company manufactures items that are printed items, all of the items that are printed that really any charity or spiritual church or anyone would really use are not taxable when you make them and sell them. Manufacturers don't tax them. They're zero rated anyway. When you sell them, after you've made it, you put 0% tax, right? Now, the company this is the thing, right? A company obviously has to pay tax itself. But when a company sells an item to you, all of its costs, staff, labour, overheads, even all the tax that you had to pay to make that item, that's meant to be in the cost of the item. How much did it cost us to make this item? It cost them a certain amount of money to make the item. They had to pay tax when they bought things. That cost them money, right? They had to buy certain things and pay their staff. That's how you work out the sales price. But the tax you add on the sales price, you're taxing the person who buys it, right? The tax that the company bought to buy all its materials, it paid tax on it. So when you say how much the item is selling for, all of the tax is absorbed in the cost of the sales price. They do say that's how they recover tax back, what they had to pay, but after they've paid it, that was an expenditure. You can't. They've paid tax. Now, when a person buys it, a product that has been manufactured, the person who buys it, that sales is another tax. So you don't add other taxes onto that tax. This is a completely new tax that the person who's buying it has to pay or doesn't have to pay. So they need to make sure that any tax that they paid when they bought the items, right, is absorbed into the cost. And the thing is that most of the blank media, blank materials, like, anything that's blank that you print on when you buy it, they're all standard rating until you've manufactured it into something else, because then it is discounted from the other categories that aren't zero rated, and it is only counted in a non-zero rated category. So stationery, like, sticky note pads and message, like you can have like those sticky notes, whatever they're called, post-it notes, sticky notes, that's stationery, but it's half sticker, half stationery, but it falls under stationery. But if you print them all into small handbills, you've made handbills. If you can have stickers or blank paper, whatever. Now, the thing is, obviously, if it's outside, you don't want it to get wet and all the ink run off if it rains. So it needs some sort of protection, whether it's, got a coating on it or something. This is why it's a good idea to use more permanent inks or even put it on laminate or something. Now, the thing is that if you look under the dictionary for the word bill, what does bill mean? So a bill also, it describes a petition as a bill, right? Officially in the dictionary, particularly, if you go back, what does the word really, really mean? So I got the 1800s dictionary because that is like a definitive term without it being, warped or changed. But the Oxford dictionary is usually identical. Bill, there are quite a few descriptions for it because you can have the beak of an animal. But bill actually is petition. It does mean a petition or a request to the government for, putting legislation through, or a request for changing the law, or even a grievance to the government. But also, in the official dictionary, this is the 1800s, so what does the word really, really mean in the language? A bill, it says, is a small notice passed around by hand that also can be posted up in public, put on display in public, or passed around by hand. And of those bills that are passed around in public and posted in public are petitions. That's under the word bill. So handbill, it says a small notice of advertisement, but the purpose of it is not only to have on your person and put in your pocket. It also is, you can either keep it or pass it around. Because so you're informing people of things. It can also be put up and posted in public, on display to the public. That's part of the actual proper meaning of it, right? And if you're putting it up in public, you don't want to get, like, the first day you put it up, it to get wet and all the ink run off it when it's outside, because it won't be any good, it won't be any use, if it rains or if it comes off. So you want it to stick properly. So small advertisements, it's obvious that, in this modern day, you would have them so they last a bit longer, so they don't, get wet and wash out. What happens if you're hanging them out in public and it's raining? So it's convenient to have, post-it and stick-it notes and so forth. It's actually all about what's written on it, though, mainly. And also, this is another thing. Because a handbill is for the purposes of passing round and putting up in public, the word advertisement in the Town and Country Planning Act is what deals with giving out handbills in public and putting them up. The Town and Country Planning Act is the act of law, because I know this act, because I've been having to study it for the last few years. That's the act for passing around handbills and putting them up in public. And it gives the definition of advertisement. What defines an advertisement? And this is a thing that the people who print stickers are going to argue, because the thing with people who print stickers is they know that in that general guidance for government, right, if artwork 0 rated, but artwork is something that you make it yourself, like if I just pick up a pen and make a picture, or if I make a little model or something out of card or crafts or even a sculpture, right? I made art 0 rated. But what they're saying is that printed images, so that's really, if you've already got an image and then you're going to make loads of copies of them, print them, they're not classing that as art. Now, the thing is, advertisements are 0 rated. Advertisements and handbills and leaflets are 0 rated, but they're going to contain art because you're going to have a logo or image. But it's not art for the sake of having a picture on the wall. Like I've got an Alex Gray picture up on there, right? Or, someone else's artwork that is reproduced. Although it says that photocopies of pictures and documents and writing and so forth 0 rated. Now, the thing is, the sticker companies, they're saying that, if it's an advertisement, then it's got to have your details on it. It's got to have, phone number, address, all the details on. It actually doesn't. It only needs the name of who it is. And to identify, it needs an identity of a company that's advertising something. And also, this is really, really important, right? Because this is probably going to affect things like, stickers in car windows that are advertising radio stations. And this is bang on with the sticker printing companies, radio station, charities, all those, right? Because they're going to contain imagery, but mainly text and the name of it, like, Oxfam or Help the Aged or whatever. But they're all V.A.T registered because they're all big charities or big companies or big political parties. And they are all incorporated only because they've got a certain turnover which requires it. It doesn't mean that if you haven't got a certain turnover which requires it, you're big. Doesn't mean that you're not. It doesn't mean you have to pay tax. It just means that it's that big. The government needs to keep a track of what you're doing. If you're small, people know that you're doing it for that purpose. If you're doing it for that purpose, what the sticker companies, some of them now, I don't know whether it's through uncertainty or fear or just unprofessionalism or people are misguiding them or what. But if someone comes in, according to that V.A.T Act 1994, no one needs to be V.A.T registered. You don't need to be an incorporated body. All you need to do is you need to be a group that has aims that are religious, spiritual, charitable, political, right? And you just have to show that it is for that reason to the manufacturer. So it is for this reason. Now, anyone can lie, but, it's about as it's on the same level as going into a shop and buying alcohol, right? Either, you're 18 or you aren't. That's the level of where it's at. If you're not big enough to be incorporated as a body, the level that you're at with it in law is, like when you're walking into a shop and buying cigarettes, you can only buy these if you're 18. If you're not 18, you can't buy them. 16 for cigarettes. For alcohol, it's 18, right? Now, if you walk into a shop, Booze Buster or whatever, and if you're 12-year-old, they're not going to sell you alcohol unless you get an ID card out and they look at it and it's you and you got your address on and, they believe you. And if they don't, then, it's unlikely if they're going to believe you if you're 8 years old and you pull out an ID saying you're 18. It's unlikely that they'll even believe you even if you had one, right? Unless you got some sort of strange medical record that you could show them as well, that you're not growing properly, right? If you go into a shop and you pull out ID, there are certain recognisable forms of ID like passport, national insurance number, so forth. All those are registered with government, right? Now, the thing is, you actually don't need to be registered with government for V.A.T or anything to be doing something not-for-profit for charity. You can have a garage sale and say, I'm going to give all this to, help the aged or whatever, or to Oxfam, right? All the profits. As long as you are going to do that, but the thing is, to save hassle, to save trouble, all those items when you manufacture them, leaflets and handbills, they've made them zero rated anyway. They've made handbills zero rated in law. So you don't need to prove that you're a body, political body or a charitable body or what. Even people who have got a business for profit don't pay VAT on leaflets or small handbills or small adverts. They just don't. And they don't even need to be a company that is incorporated or anything. You can be doing gardening services. That it saves everyone hassle. They've just made them zero rated. Now, if you want to argue what is a small handbill or not, I can guarantee you a petition is a handbill, right? Now, if you're only advertising the petition, it's not the petition. The advert for the petition isn't the petition. You're telling people that you are doing a petition and, you can sign it if you can find them, right? And also, in the definition of advert, this is really important. It says, and this is in the Town and Country Planning Act, which is to do with actually having them on your person in public, handbills, and where you can even hand them out in public. Some places you can't even have them on your person or hand them out if there's a ban on them, like commercial ban, no, in certain areas aren't even allowed to have material to hand out, unless obviously not petitions, like they're exempt. But it says even a reference to an advert. So not even the advert, not even the actual advertisement, which isn't the product, because the product isn't the advert for the product, right? An advertisement, right, for Coca-Cola is not a can of Coca-Cola. An advertisement to ask people to sign a petition is not the petition. It's just asking people if they want to sign it and letting them know that you've got one and where to find it. But also, this is the thing, a reference to the advertisement, a reference to the advert, saying that there is even an advert, right? So, anything that refers you to the advert, a reference to the advert. Now, that means that you can literally say, come to my website for details. I'm selling, we're selling lemonade at a lemonade stand. Come to the website for details. That is a reference to the website or to the advert that's got the full details. So all you have to say is, we've got petitions at his website, come and sign them. And then all the details are on the website. You're referring them to the website. A reference to the website. References to the advert. It's not even the advert. So that means all you need to do is have, for radio stations, have capital FM on a car window sticker, and it's referring you to capital FM. Or if you're even on the website on it, all you actually need is either a name so people can know that what you're called to start looking it up and what it is, right? So if they know what it's called and what it's for, it has identified, is referring you to any further details than that. So like on the website, like on the stickers, it's baitcup.biz. That's what the website's called. And it's for petitions. And come and sign them. baitcup.biz is the website. It's about petitions, which are bills. Come and sign them. So you go to the website, it's referring you to the website, which has got all the full advertisement and details. And actually the product, well, it's not a product. Well, the petitions are a product. It's the petition to sign it. So the advert doesn't need to be, the advert is not the product. And then the referral to the advert, the reference to the advert, even referring to an advert. So you are completely and totally covered for small notices for adverts. They're not a printed image because it's more than a picture. It is for a body or group or it's advertising something. Either it's advertising something or not. An image usually is for purely aesthetic, just to look at it because you like looking at it. It's nice to look at. That's an image. Artwork, but they're saying that printed images, mainly because they're mass produced, I think that's why they do zero rated printed images. But once it's an advert, you start putting letters and type in there and it's actually for something. An image isn't really for something. An image is just there to look nice. It's not for a cause or a purpose or campaign. So it really covers far and wide around this whole subject. And if you're even going to touch small adverts, small notices that can be passed around by hand and are referring to an advert or are the advert, whether you pass them by hand and have them on your person or stick them up. And if you want to stick it up, it doesn't want to get wet and wash out. It'd be pointless. So, they're to be put up in public, small adverts and handbills. That's what the original definition of the word bill is. And a handbill, it says to hand around and put up in public or to keep. Because why? Because you're advertising and promoting things to other people. Either, you can give them a couple of them, that's the point. Hand them out, keep them or put them up. We're trying to inform people. Those are the objectives and goal, So you don't even have to be registered with tax. Now, I don't know how a lot of these printers got into the habit of being obsessed with asking for VAT. I don't know whether it's word of mouth or bad habit or lack of confidence or lack of just don't care. They don't have to pay the tax. Someone else has to pay it. Someone else is paying it. It's not their problem. But they're collecting tax into the government from people who are doing political causes, and it's costing them money. And some people can't afford the access to the product at those prices. So they're not going to promote their campaign very well, are they? It's hindering access. The reason why you don't pay VAT is so you can get hold of the product without having to pay it. Because if they force you to pay the VAT, they're obstructing your access to the product. Because if you haven't got enough money to buy it, you can't get it. And the right gives you the right to get it at that price. not claiming it back after, because that's an illegal charge. You've been charged unlawfully. Why claim it back? Because they've made you pay more for something. What if you didn't have enough money? They're hindering and restricting access to something that you have got a lawful right to access without being charged by the government. This is the thing. It's all over this 1994 V.A.T. Act, Value Added Tax Act. It says you don't have to be incorporated body. There are bodies and incorporated bodies. In Group 9, it says a body, as long as it's for a body or corporate body, philosophical, philanthropic, that's charitable, education, religious, political aims. Particularly if you're giving stuff away like me. I've been giving everything away. I haven't even brought any money in, not even to break even, or not even to raise any non-profit money, which is not for me. It's to get more things to spread the cause more. I am asking for subscriptions. Well, people subscribe when they sign up, but I don't ask them for any money. There are people doing GoFundMes, right, getting loads and loads of money in, and they're using all the money for Stop You Les and all other campaigns. And because people are throwing money at them, right, like Stop You Les, they get a lot of people and they start throwing money at them on GoFundMe, right? They're not registered with government. They're not registered with government for VAT. But they're not. They'll just pay the tax. They'll just pay it because people are throwing money at them. People are subscribing and throwing money at them. So, it's not for profit. It's non-profit. It's for the cause. But they don't care. They're not bothered because people throw money at them. They don't need to say, get the VAT off. But if they get the VAT off and do it properly, they can actually afford to do more things with that money. They can get more stickers. They can get more flyers. They can travel more. They can do more things, even rosettes or whatever they're doing, promote the cause more. They're basically, effectively, the government is taking money off them and it is nipping or pinching the capacity. And this is because of people are uneducated. They don't care. They're not that intelligent to read the law properly. It says body. And then you've got corporate bodies and non-corporate bodies. You don't have to be a corporate body to do charitable work. And the reason is that you don't need to register for VAT unless you got a certain amount of money coming through. And then they want it all recorded because, otherwise they don't care. They're not bothered. Now, you might say, well, how are they going to record if you pay VAT or not? Well, they're not bothered. This is the thing. They're not bothered. They're not bothered. Now, well, how are they going to keep tabs on it? Well, how do they keep tabs on who's buying alcohol over 18 years old? Now, the companies are probably panicking because they're worried what the taxman's going to say when he comes round. Well, what else do you say? Someone came in for a charity and got some stuff. We're only small. They're not a big company. If you want to take some sort of record from them, then you're at liberty to ask, and particularly if it's a petition, then you get a copy of the petition, show it to the taxman. This is what I've been saying the whole time. People don't use initiative. They haven't got this thing called initiative. Maybe it's confidence, but, this is the thing. This is the thing with actually reading the legislation and the law.